Alright, so we're live now. Awesome. I'm gonna make you host back again. Oh, so you were already made host? I can't hear you.
Sorry. Thank
No
you.
worries. Yeah. So now you have to make me co-host so that we can share our
Yeah.
powers.
Yeah. All right. You're all set.
Awesome. I've been sending you all of the class attendance in this Slack. Don't you see, you see that, right?
Yeah, I
Awesome.
do. Yeah. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Awesome.
Hmm.
No worries. Thanks.
Hey, Karen.
Hey,
How are you?
very good.
Good to
Very
see
Hi,
you.
hi, Scott.
Hi. How are you?
You can good. You can change my name.
Okay, let me see, Rochelle, if I can remember the spelling. And don't tell me, I'm going to see if I'm. Did I get it?
Yes, you did.
All right. Terrific. Hello, Josefina and Elaine and Ellen Sue. Good to see everybody. Hi, Eva. Whoops. Okay, I do not know. Okay, there we go. I'll wait for about 1 more minute to make sure everybody gets in. And then I'll get us started. Just want to let everybody know too, my colleague Michael is here and he can answer any questions you have about Zoom, any technical problems you might be having. So drop that in the chat and let him know and he'll troubleshoot for you. And he'll also help me track questions, things like that. All right. So Elaine and Karen, I imagine those aren't your real settings right now, right?
Oh, right. Darn. It's my dream setting.
Yeah.
Mm,
Looks awfully pretty though. Both of them, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I'll go ahead and get us started. Welcome everybody, good to see you. Nice to see some familiar faces. And welcome to Google Photos Part 2. So a little bit more about me, which I probably don't need to spend too much time on because most of you had plenty of dialogues with in my classes, but I live in Silver Spring, Maryland. I am a former journalist and have dealt a lot with website development and management and social media outreach. And I'm also an avid photographer. So that's how I got familiar with managing things in the cloud and also with managing photographs in the cloud. And I love being here. I enjoy seeing people time and time again and also meeting new people on these classes. So it's great to be a Get Set Up guide. And of course, we're here to help you learn. Ideally, we can always see everybody on camera. If you're comfortable with that, it just creates more of a community connection, which is one of our aims here at Get Set Up. If you would like to request a recording of the class, just email us at help@getsetup.io, and we'll be happy to get that sent to you. If you're joining us by live stream, welcome. Glad you're watching. The best way to participate in a class is to register, and then you can interact with the other learners and the guide. So I encourage you to do that in the future. And lastly, Get Set Up is not paid to promote any specific products. So this is not meant to be an endorsement of Google or any of its products. It's just an educational session. So just want to make sure, if you haven't taken the Google Photos Basics class, and I think I've seen most of you there, just be forewarned that it is a, it might run a little over your, well, I don't want to put it this way, but it might be best to have gone through that first, because this kind of is geared toward people who already have set up an account and are just looking at how to use the account to the best of its abilities. So just a heads up on that. What we're going to talk about today is understanding how Google Photos organizes your photos automatically, and how to create customized albums in the app, and then how to share photos easily from the app. If there's anything else that you were interested in finding out about today, feel free to let me know now before I dive in, and I'll see if I can address that while I'm presenting. Yeah, Karen.
Scott, if this is for the basic, tell me, but I was just curious if you have feedback from any of the participants who have already, regarding the Google's June 1st storage change, recommending we go from original to high definition. Have you had any feedback from anyone about how long it takes? I'm afraid it's going to freeze my iPhone. I have about 20,000 photos. And do you have any feedback from other participants?
I have not heard. You're talking about just switching over to just switching over any what's the word they use, high quality to the original quality. Yeah, I have not heard, and it's funny, I need to do the same thing pretty soon. So I don't know as of yet what kind of problem that would be. I think a lot would depend, Karen, on the internet connection you're using or the wireless connection you're using to do it too, because the more bandwidth, the faster it's going to go.
So turn off all the other devices when I do it.
The pictures reloaded?
Yeah, that might help. And
what did she say?
I think that she was off camera talking on the phone. So yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. Okay. I think so.
No,
was that Eva?
the pictures reloaded. Yeah, it's Eva. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Eva. Sorry about that. It was a little
Okay.
little
Are the pictures reloaded if they're already on Google Photos?
if they're already on there, they're going to stay on there in the format you uploaded them on. So what you would want to do is essentially turn off on your settings the high quality backup back to the original quality backup if you want to start backing up original quality. But keep in mind that high quality is going to take up less room on your account. So
Is that on Google or your phone? Where do you turn it off?
it's on your phone.
Google Photos?
Yeah, it would be in the Google Photos app settings. Yeah.
Okay.
If you remember from the course we walked through.
Yeah, my internet is unstable, that's why.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
That's the problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Anybody?
Scott,
Yes.
What I'm hoping to, because I started moving everything during class 1,
Yeah.
is that now as I'm adding stuff, for some reason, I can't figure out how to get it into the categories. So I'm assuming you're going to take a look at that.
Yeah.
Because I set up some categories and now all of a sudden I'm trying to move it and no clue. So,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, I'm going to walk through that, Ellen Sue, and then
Perfect.
Do you go by Ellen Sue or Ellen?
I go by anything anybody wants to call me.
Okay.
Al is fine. Ellen Sue is great. Whatever.
Okay. Great. All right.
No worries at all.
yeah, I'm going to walk through that whole categorization process that it uses and everything. Yeah. So, okay. All right. Okay. Well, let's get started here. Okay. So, we're a small enough group. I don't think I need to worry about this. I just want to let people know this class has in the past tended to just get such a flurry of questions that it's hard to get through all the material. So if you could stay on mute during the presentation, I'm going to stop for a Q&A. Feel free to drop questions in the chat at any time. And may get to the point where people are going to have particular, very specific needs and preferences for themselves that I may not be able to, depending on time, be able to address fully. I just want to set expectations that this is just kind of a general tutorial. Okay, so if I'm just going to review real quickly, we talked in the Google Photos basics that the app allows you to securely and automatically store copies of your photos online as backup. And it also enables you to access your photos on all your devices. It's synchronized, so you can, as long as you have that Google Photos app downloaded to your phone and your tablet, you can look at it on either one of those. If you have more than one smartphone and you have it on both of those, you can look at it on both. And you can just go to google.com to access your account, your Photos account that way. And here are the things we're going to talk about today. Now that you've got everything set up in the way you would like, as long as in the settings, and if you'll recall, I suggested that you turn on group similar faces, and I think it even has pets as an option on there. But if you do that, it will identify not only objects, events, and places in each photo, tagging them with keywords for easy searches, but it will also group together photos of each individual in your photo collection. Excuse me. And it will enable you to share pictures directly from the app, and it'll also allow you to create and share your own photo albums that you create. Well, yeah, that's redundant. Okay, so what is that going to look like? I am going to use my desktop screen just because I feel like it's more visible to you than my phone screen, but the interface might be slightly different, but not much. So again, when I open up my browser, my Google browser, I can go here to the Photos app and I open it up. Here is my just camera log. It's just going through. This is all reverse chronology on the pictures. So I mentioned first, well, let me walk first through what Google is doing itself on its own. Let me go back up here and I'm going to do a search for sunsets. I want to just look at what pictures of sunsets I might have here. And you'll see here that it automatically brought up every question of a setting sun that I have in my account. That these have been backed up from my phone. So, wow. How did it know to do that? Because I did not label these in any way as sunsets. Maybe I want to narrow it down. I remember taking a picture of a sunset in Amsterdam several years ago. I can't remember the exact year, but I would like to track that down. And I don't want to, I've got a lot of sunset pictures here. I don't want to sift through every one of them. So I do that. And lo and behold, there it is. And if I want to look at pictures of my wife and I on a vacation in California. I have lots of family pictures that my wife appears in, but it narrows it down to just these. These are from a trip to Northern California in which she appears, some with me, some with other people, but so how did all that happen? What is happening behind the scenes is that couple of things. Google Photos is reading the metadata on your picture. And metadata is, you can think of it as sort of the guts of the photo, if you will. These data include the date and time that you took the picture, as well as the device you used to take it. All digital photographs kind of work that way, especially on smartphones. When you snap that picture, it's all going to get recorded. And if you have your location settings turned on your phone, say for GPS, then it will record the location as well. It'll read the GPS coordinates and tell you pretty much right to the spot where you took that shot. And those data travel with the photo as you store it in different places. So it really is like the inside of the photo. So what that might look like is, let's take this one and see. You can read the metadata on your photos. If I open up this, I can go over here to info. I'll show you that again. It's right up here in the corner. The eye, and click on that. And you'll see that I took this on April 16th. And it was with my iPhone, even shows the settings on the phone. And here on the map, it's showing me right the very spot where I took this, which was in my front yard. And this is my street. So I'm even seeing an image of my street, not just the spot on the map. Little scary, but it does help you find photos from certain locations very quickly. Those are the metadata. The other thing that is going on is that Google has some object and facial recognition technology. So it's recognizing specific types of animals and plants and events and objects, and it's tagging them with keywords. You don't have to do any of that. And then in addition to that, it's grouping each face into its own little album, if you will, allowing you to then tag it with that person's name. It's not going to know the name of the person, but it will recognize the face, pull those all together. So each person has their own little album, and then you can just tag that person's name to it. And then you can do a search for any loved one you want to find a picture of that might be in your account. So that's how I was able to so easily find a picture of my wife. Just to show you that again, it's taken a while, but there are all the pictures, not just California. So it was able to go through all of these and pinpoint just California pictures. So the way this all gets organized, if you want to look behind the scenes and see, say you're not searching, but you're just browsing your photo library here. So you have people, places, and things, and they even throw in pets here. And I'll go through people in a moment because that is the one thing that requires a little bit of work on your part. But places, well, let's start with things actually. You go to things and you'll see that they've got all kinds of categories set up. I just click on that and I can see this whole gallery here. It's all divided up with just about any noun you can think of. If it's in your photo library, you will see it here. And if you don't, it's probably going to find the picture anyway. Not every single thing is displayed here, but as you can see, I'm just sort of scrolling down here and browsing, and there you see sunsets. That's how it was able to find that. Again, I did not do any tagging here. This is all just that image recognition technology. But I need to go back here because that's kind of frozen. But as you'll see here, why don't these want to open up? Anyway, I don't know. My computer's kind of slowing down here, but everything with a bike, any picture with a bike will be behind here. So if you ever wanted to just browse, you could do that. You go up to places. This is where it's divided it up into, first you see it sort of at a macro level by a lot by country. Although there are some cities here, but here is everything in Paris. And say the Netherlands. Here's the Netherlands. All the pictures I took in the Netherlands show up here. But if I scroll down, I can narrow it down even more. Here are pictures that were just in Amsterdam. Right next to them are pictures in another Dutch city called Hilversum. And further down, you'll find Rotterdam, Delft, other Dutch cities. So it gets that granular in terms of the categorization there. So if you're ever just interested in sort of browsing through where you've been in the world, maybe trying to reminisce on a vacation someplace, you can just kind of scroll through here and look. And let's go to people. So here in people, this is where, again, you have to do just a little bit of work. As you see, when I open this gallery up, I've got a lot of faces here, a lot of names attached, but a lot that don't have names attached. And these are people I know, family members, friends, and I want to include them. I want to be able to search for them. So let's see. Let's go down here. I'll take my nephew, Nate. Doesn't show his name. So if I try to do a search for Nate, I'm probably not going to find him. So what I need to do is click on his face in that gallery. And I come over here up and you'll see a little thumbnail of him up in the corner. It's already pulled all the photos in which he appears together. So it's recognizing his face and pulling that together. I just need to add his name. Click done. And now I can do a search for Nate. Whoops, I misspelled his name. And there you go. So all I need to do is quickly add the names to all these faces that are appearing in my photo gallery, and I have much more control over my people photos. Okay. And that is the way things are. This is essentially saving you a lot of work. So I'm going to stop there for just a sec, see if there are any questions I can answer or anything you'd like me to go over again.
Sorry, Scott, could you do that labeling thing again with your nephew?
Sure, sure. I'll do it with another person since I already labeled him, but yeah. All right. Okay. All right, so let's take this guy. This is my brother, Matt. Actually, that's Nate's dad. So let's say I'm scrolling down here and here is his picture. So I click on that. And here's an interesting thing too. There are pictures that it's recognizing him. And even when it's not sure, it's asking me. So number one, you see over here in the corner, it says same or different person. I click on that and I'm just going to confirm that, yes, that's the same person. Apparently there are a few here that they're not sure, that Google's not sure about. So I'm done with that. I've confirmed all the pictures that should be in his file. And you see here where his little thumbnail is, and I'm just going to click add name and click done. And there you go. Okay. So I do see some questions here too. Is that clear, Alan? Yeah, okay. So here's a question. If I upload old pics from an old camera that doesn't have metadata, how will this be displayed? So if it's on a digital camera, say, I don't know how old digital cameras are now. Are they 20 years old, 25 years old? I can't say that metadata is recorded in cameras that were dating back that far back if they were digital, but it will pick up categories and it will pick up, the facial and object recognition will still work. But the only thing that won't work is anything related to the metadata. So the location and the time and date that you took it might not be there. If you have pictures from an old analog camera, meaning film, then those will not collect the metadata. However, they will recognize the objects and the faces in those pictures. So you can still group faces that way. If there are common faces, it will catch those and group them together. But when you scan an old photo, print photo, the only metadata that gets collected is when you scan it into a digital format. So it collects the date that it was scanned, not the date that it was taken. Okay, here is another great question that Elaine raises. And I get asked this a lot. How well will it recognize a baby as it grows? And Elaine, it's hit and miss. I am a little amazed at what it has done sometimes and what it hasn't. But I'm going to take one of my other nieces here, Katie, and she is 17 now, but it recognizes her from when she was about 4. She might have even been younger than that in this picture. And I didn't tell it to do that. So it recognized her here and also here. But I have another niece who I also have I'm trying to find her, who I also have a childhood picture from. Now it actually did find her. Okay, she's here. So, okay, here's one. These are 2 of my nieces, Olivia, that's Sydney, that's Olivia. So it recognized Sydney. So let's look at whether that same picture is in Olivia's. If I can find Olivia. Oh, there she is. So it didn't find that picture for her. It didn't recognize her as the same person. So very hit and miss. But if you do have a baby picture of somebody, you can always go in and add, well, let me see. If you open that up, there is always a chance to just go in here and you'll see that it brings up all the faces in that metadata. And you can just go in here and edit the faces and categorize them. You can just say, okay, this should be, and then you'll get your gallery and you can just assign that face in the picture to the face in the gallery here.
Seems like we got some questions in the chat.
Yeah, yeah. So I saw Karen has a question about, yes, Karen, that should synchronize with your phone. So it'll happen whether you do it on your desktop. That all of that's being done in the cloud, so to speak, where Google Photos exists. So anything you do on one device is going to carry over, so you'll see it on another device. Okay. All right. So let's look at creating your own little categorization if you want to create your own albums or anything like that. So I've got just a few albums that I've created here. And these are from family vacations, vacations with friends, trips, things like that. Anything that may not necessarily fall into a easy categorization that Google would catch. And maybe I want to share these albums as well. So here is a family trip from a few years ago. And say that I want to share an individual photo. I can go up here and I can hit share. You'll see right up here in the corner, it says share. That's the first option. And it allows me then to email this directly to somebody just with an email address that I would type in here. I could create a link like this. It will bring up a link. I just copy that and I paste that into an email and send it out to as many people as I'd like. So say I send this out to my entire family, they'll see this picture, they'll see nothing else. They won't have access to anything else in my photo library. So it's still secure. I'm just giving everybody permission to view and download this particular picture. Now, I can also do that with the entire album that I've set up. Same process there. And they would see the entire album, not just, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Not just the one picture. Okay. So to actually create an album, you'll see up here, it says create. So let's say that I want to create an album called Family Dogs. And I just want to pull together all the dogs in my family into one album of some sort. So I can do a couple of things. I can go in here and select people and pets, but let's just go ahead and I'm just going to go here, call this up, and I'm just going to type in dogs. And I'll start recognizing dogs from the family and anything I want to be included in that album. I can include, I just go down here and click. And I am set to go. Then I just click done up here in the corner. And there we go. I have my own album. And if I want to add any photos to it, I can just go up here and click add photo and select any others I may want just by clicking here. And that gets added in. So nice way to share photos from, you know, a reunion or a vacation, anything like that. Okay. All right. So, whoops. So any questions on how any of the album setting up works? Eva, I think you might be on mute. It looks like you're asking a question, but I can't, you need to unmute yourself.
Yeah, okay, that's better. Yes.
Yeah.
Where is the create album? I couldn't see it on your screen. Can you
Oh,
show
okay.
us so we
Yeah,
can, I
sure.
can see it better?
Sure. Let me open that up again. Okay. So it's not real visible, but do you see it up here in the corner?
No, I don't see anything.
Okay.
There's a create album on the right. That's what you mean?
Right.
I see it
And
now. It's under albums. Okay.
yeah. And then you just type in whatever you want to title the album and then go in here to select the photos you want to go in there. And you can even, when you do that, you can open up your library and do a search to find specific photos that you want to go in there.
Okay. Is there a way to read an album?
Is there, I'm sorry, is there a way to what?
Rename an album.
Oh, rename it. Sure.
Let's say I don't like the name I gave it.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So you could go in here and just click here and I could just change it to dogs. And that should save it as such. And then you'll see here, and now it's listed as dogs instead. So that's just a matter of opening it up and you just go in here and you can type in the new name over the one you had before.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, other questions? No? Okay. One other thing I will show you, it's kind of fun, is some of the other little options on your account. Number one, if you want to say, send a photo out for print, to get printed, you can do that. You can even order a canvas print directly from here. I don't know if Google has a contract with a specific company that does these, but if you notice here, I can just click on prints and I can get a 4x6 of this and get it printed and sent back to me. And I also have the ability to edit a photo. So let's take a look at this one, for example. Click on, if you'll see this let me go back here just a moment to show you what that symbol looks like, because it's pretty universal. But right up here, you'll see this is sort of the universal edit sign when it comes to digital photography. So you'll probably see this a lot on your smartphone and on your computer. So you open that up, and the first thing it shows you is all these different quick changes or enhancements that you can make to your photo, depending on whether you want to give it a warmer tone or maybe reduce the color or up the color or anything like that. And these are all adjustable, so you can take your pointer here and move it up and down. You can turn it to black and white if you want. And it does have just an auto mode that just does just enough. It's sort of like the Goldilocks quick edit there. And if you move over here, you can also adjust the color saturation if you want, or the light, make it brighter. And also if you click pop, it just makes it much more defined. I don't know if you can see just how much sharper the picture gets. And then you click done. And say I just leave that there for a while, and then later I open it back up. I don't like what I've done. I can go back here and I can still go back to the original. It doesn't really duplicate it. It's just sort of representing it with the edits, and you always have that. It just keeps a recording of what it was before, so you can go back and start from square one if you want.
There's just one more question in the chat from Mara.
Okay.
So she says, is there a way to scan a stack of pictures at a time, or do you have to scan each individually?
You know, it may vary from scanner to scanner, but I sometimes will put 3 or 4 pictures on my scanner and scan them all together. So you may do them in small groups. You don't have to do them individually necessarily. So if you can just sort of arrange them on the scanner so that they stay within the amount of area that the scanner picks up, then you can do it that way. But I don't know how to do a real mass scan of anything.
May I ask a question also? Sure. I'm assuming there's a way to load photos that I took with the digital camera from my desktop to Google Photos.
Yeah.
Can you show us that, or did you?
Yep, that sounds great. So that is very easy to do. You just go into any photo file you have, and you can either go to upload and tap into your computer that way and bring them in, just open it up and bring it that way. But actually the easier thing to do, for me at least, is to just grab a photo and on your computer and drag and drop it in like that. And it will go right in.
So you open 2 windows then? Right?
What I do is I just open, I just opened this window on my PC or my MacBook actually. So this is just for my computer, just a folder.
That's your Google window, right?
No, this one
is your Google window, no?
No, this here is my just a folder on my desktop. Here's my Google window.
For your photos. But then how do you drag it to Google Photos? if you don't open a window for it?
Oh, you don't have to. This is just on my computer and I'm just dragging it over like that.
But you have a Google Photos window open then, right?
Yeah, right. I have,
That's
this
what
is
it
my,
seems,
this is
looks
my,
like. Oh,
Right.
okay, all right.
yeah, yeah. So I've got, this is my Google Photos window. This is just what's on my, my desktop.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
And once it's in,
Okay.
you can right away, if you want, add it to an album. If you've already got an album that you've started that you want to include it in. So. Yeah, go ahead, Eva.
Then that's one step, right? If you just move it to Google Photos, then you still have to move it to an album inside Google Photos if you want that, right?
Right, right.
So is it better to create the album empty first and then move into that straight?
Yeah, actually, if you were going, let's say you're gonna put a bunch of them in together. Let's say you're doing 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Well, I think I already dragged that one in.
Or 100?
Or 100. Let's see what happens. I'm not gonna do 100, but I'll do 4.
Okay.
And so one by one, it'll ask, do I want to add this to an album? So I can just say, I'm just for the sake of demonstration. It looks like it's only letting me do that with one at a time. So I may have to do one by one.
That's gonna be
I can
fun.
drag and drop a whole bunch in at one time. I just can't assign them to an album all at one time. I'd have to do that after they're after they're in here. Now I could do something like this. Say that I want, whoops. Say I have a few in here and I want to add those to an album. I think that I can, maybe not. I think that I can drag and drop them right over into the album, but maybe I can't. No, I don't think I can do that. Yeah, I think you have to do this one by one.
That's not very efficient, right? If you have a lot of pictures that you want to categorize into different dates, whatever,
Right.
trips.
But here is an option. If you set up an album, though, I can come up here
Mhm.
and drag a couple things in. And let me see.
You're dragging in from Google already, right?
I'm dragging in directly from my desktop. And from there, I drag them directly into the album first. So they go directly into the album. So if I open up this album, one of the albums where I want a group of photos to go, then I can just grab a bunch of them together, just click on each one, hit shift and click on each one, and then drag them over into that album. And they'll go directly into the album.
But from Google already, not from your desktop.
No, from my desktop.
First, you have to move it to Google and then to the album.
Right, but I can open up an album on Google and drag them right over into the album. And then they'll be in my photo collection, but they'll also already be grouped into the album. So that way it would be more efficient.
Scott,
Yes.
on this,
It's still
on
two
this-
steps, no? Okay.
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
this,
Go ahead,
on
Karen.
this is Karen. On this same subject, instead of dragging them from your desktop over to Google Photos, can you open up on your laptop your iPhone icon, photo icon to your library of all? Can you drag directly from your laptop library, your MacBook library photos? Can you just, can you
So-
drag?
Here is where I think this is because of competition.
Oh.
What I would have to do with any of these is if I click on this, I have to specifically call it up. And then I go up here and should be able to, yeah, I have to hit export
Huh.
and export it to my computer. I don't think I have the option of taking it to Google Photos, but if I hit this, it will just allow me to bring it onto my computer. And then I'd have to drag it in. And I think this is because the two companies are competitors. So they're wanting you to stick with them and they're not going to make it easy for you.
Interesting, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Other questions?
Okay.
Eva, I think you're still on mute.
Yes, can a picture be in more than one album?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And it will not be a duplicate. So what it's so in essentially what's happening is you're just seeing it presented in 3 different ways, but it's all the same photo. So it'll be presented as part of an album. It might be presented as part of another album, and it might be presented all on its own on your general camera roll.
So it's not wasteful then?
Right, right.
So
Thank
just
you.
in piggybacking off what Eva said, if I go in and I put something in an album and now it's in the main thing, or I've discovered there's 2 of them and I want to send it to the trash, does it take it out of the album? Like, does it eliminate its presence altogether if I
Yeah.
delete something?
Yeah, if you delete a photo, it's going to take it out all. Yeah. Yeah.
What if it's duplicated? So if I have it in twice, but I have it in an album.
Okay, so theoretically or purportedly, they will dedupe automatically. The issue is if you have edited a photo, especially if you're doing it on a mobile app, if you have edited a photo in another photo editing app, when you save it, it's going to view it as a whole new image. It'll have a whole new file name, the whole bit. And so it will back that up too. So you may have 2 photos side by side that look like they're duplicated. It's just that one was edited a little bit and the other one is the original. So that is one drawback to that.
So if you go to trash it, it's gone.
Yeah.
Wherever you have it.
No. Let me show you. That's a great question. I'm glad you raised that. If you trash it, you have 60 days to retrieve it. So it goes into a trash bin.
Iran, tawagan niya ako ha. Something is wrong with my computer. Bye.
Okay. If you go into your trash can, if you think of it as like a garbage can you've set out every week for the garbage collectors to come, kind of the same thing here. This is sitting waiting for the garbage collectors to come. After 60 days, they come and they delete these from your trash bin. You can also do it yourself. Right up here, it says empty trash. So you could do it on your own and get rid of it. I guess that'd be the equivalent of taking it to the city dump or something. But so you have control over that. But otherwise, it will sit here for 60 days. If you need to retrieve it, it's one thing I should show you. I'm going to delete a photo right now. Oh. Let me go up here, move to trash. Okay, it's in trash. I go back and I'm going to go to my trash bin. If I want to retrieve this or restore it, when I call it up, I can go to restore. And it's now back in my photo library. One thing I don't know is yeah, and it will even go back to the album where you had it. Okay. All right. Okay, so I think we're nearing the end of the hour. I just want to go over some final takeaways for you and tell you about some things coming up on Get Set Up. So again, Google Photos applies keywords to your photos and can also group the pictures by location, and that allows you to search and retrieve specific photos pretty easily. It also groups photos by face, allowing you to attach a name to the face for easy searches of people, loved ones, family members. That should all be the same. And you can create and share your own albums on the app. So pretty handy tool. Okay. So if you're happy with this class and you want to share your experience, if you're going to share it on your social media feed, please, you would be so kind as to give us a shout out, because we are trying to expand our reach to help more people. Our hashtag is Get Set Up. We have some related classes coming up. We have one on getting started with Gmail if you're new to Gmail. We have Google Keep. That is something you can use for tasks, reminders, and things like that. And then one on iPhone basics if you have an iPhone. My next classes, I have one coming up in about 30 minutes on designing your own t-shirts and sweatshirts online. A lot of fun. And then I think on Monday, there is a class on taking beautiful portraits of your family and friends. Actually, that's tomorrow. I'm sorry. Yeah, both of those are tomorrow. So love to see you there. Also, I want to tell you about a new feature we have on Get Set Up. It's called the Photo Challenge of the Week. We teach so many photography classes. We thought it would be fun for people to share the photos they've taken after they've learned some things in those classes. So this will meet once a week, obviously, and you can share your photos with other learners. We'll have a different theme each week. You can get feedback, advice. You can tell us a story behind the photo, and we'll vote for a winning image, and the top vote getter gets a prize from Get Set Up. And week 1 will be pictures of flowers, spring flowers. So submit your favorite picture, one that you've taken of a flower or a bunch of flowers from your own garden, bouquets in your house, out in nature, anything like that. And you can submit the pictures to this email address, which is where we'll amass them and then get them ready to present on Friday, May 7th at 4 p.m. Eastern. And we'll just share and chat about photography and have a lot of fun. So I hope to see you there.
Scott, quick question. I've taken so many classes, so forgive me. Were you the one that taught the medium class?
Yeah.
I wrote my first piece and I've got readers. So I just wanted to say thank you.
That's awesome. That is so good.
Not a bunch of readers, but I think like 7 or 8 people are following me now. I'll be writing a series, but I just wanted to say thank you. You inspired me to just do it. So
well, that's good. Ellen, I'll go and read I'll read your blog.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Yeah.
And Scott, I have a quick question on this subject about submitting pictures.
Yeah.
One of them says picture singular, and then another sentence says pictures plural. Did you say, what was the requirement again?
So I'll tell you what, I think that we had envisioned just one picture, but I've already had people submitting like 3 and 4. So I would say if you have 3, 4, 5 you want to submit, that's fine.
Thank you.
So, all right. Okay, and class notes. We do have class notes that we send out after every class. So you'll be getting those with some takeaways, a couple of additional links for reference for you. There is an opportunity to recommend the class if you liked it. You can do that via Facebook or email. And you'll get some suggestions for other classes that you might be interested in. You'll be able to view the schedule. And you can click here for feedback on anything you want to tell us about the class, what worked for you, what didn't, what you think might improve it. There's a 5-star rating system for the class and the guide, which it defaults to 4, but you can put as few or as many stars there as you want. You can also here let us know about any classes that you would like to suggest we start teaching. If there's something you'd like to learn and you don't see it on our class schedule, please let us know, because we build our class, our curriculum based on the feedback we get from you. We want to provide what you're looking for. And if you would like to invite a friend to any class you book, we now have a feature on the site where you can do that very easily. When you book, you'll get an opportunity to tell a friend or friends about the class. You can share it on Facebook, WhatsApp, or via email. And there are a lot of things that you might want to correspond with us about. And the default email for that is help@getsetup.io. If you'd like to host an interest group on Get Set Up, to get together with other learners to talk about a favorite topic, talk about food, talk about wine, talk about travel, anything like that. We have a lot of interest groups already operating on Get Set Up. You can suggest a new class that way as well. You don't have to just limit yourself to the feedback form. If you are a member of an organization and you would like to suggest maybe a partnership with Get Set Up, let us know. We'd be happy to pursue that. And if you want a recording of this session, again, you can just email us at help@getsetup.io. So,
May I ask one more question?
sure. Yeah.
Okay, the question is this: if I delete a picture from an album, does it totally delete it from Google Photos?
Yes, it will. It'll go into your trash bin.
So it's gone.
Well, you can retrieve it from your
Is
trash.
there a Google trash bin or the?
Yeah, the Google trash bin. You can go in there and retrieve it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I have to be careful.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much, Scott.
Okay. Thank you. Good to see everybody. Take care and hope to
Thank
see
you,
again
Scott.
soon. Okay.
Great.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.